talk about the power of story. What does the word power mean to you?
Big, strong.
Strong, big. What else? Force, forceful. Okay, stories are very, very powerful. They are the basic principles of our mind, and when we read one story, it often can help us make sense of another one. They help us develop a deeper understanding not only of who we are, not only of ourselves, but also of the world around us. So when we read stories, we begin to understand and come to develop a deeper comprehension of different cultures, different people, different eras, different times in history that we didn't have before we started reading these stories. And history is nothing but a story. If you think about it, everything that has happened in the past can be told as a story of what we can learn from for the future. We study history so that we do not repeat the mistakes that we made in the past again in the future. That's why we study history. So the essential questions that we want to ask are things like, how can I discover how I fit into this world? How do I relate to my family, my community, or my country? How are my relationships, my own skills, and my own talents, how do they help define me? When we start asking those essential questions, we can then move on with all the literature that you are reading in this class and start to say, now that I understand these are important things to know about myself, what can I learn from the stories that we are reading? And how can I apply the lessons in these stories to my own life? We also can learn from history to help us be successful in our own future. A lot of the stories we read are historically based. You're going to be reading To Kill a Mockingbird when you come back from the holidays. To Kill a Mockingbird is a classic that every person in the United States should read because it explores a period of history that still is applicable to events today. The story is very important, and Ursula Le Guin said, the story from Rumpelstiltskin to War and Peace is one of the basic tools invented by the human mind for the purpose of understanding. There have been great societies that did not use the wheel, but no society did not tell stories. It's the oldest form of communication to help people understand. We are our own stories. We compress years of experience, thoughts, and emotion into a few compact narratives, and then we convey it to others or we tell it to ourselves. They've always been true. Personal narratives are more prevalent and perhaps more urgent in a time of abundance. When we have a lot of things and a lot of time on our hands, our personal stories become even more important. Some of the best movies out there are personal stories. A League of Their Own, about the Women's Baseball League during World War II. Okay, there's a lot of really good stories out there. The Blind Side is one of my favorite football movies, and Clash of the Titans. Both are based on personal experiences and personal stories. Yeah, they're great films, and they're based on someone's story that we get to enjoy in. So we have to listen to each other's stories because we each are authors of our own lives. So stories do these four things. They give order to the human experience. They explore cultural values. About 10 years ago, I read a book called The Kite Runner. And it's a story of a young man's life living in Afghanistan before the Taliban came in and destroyed the country and took over. And it really opened my eyes to how lucky I am to have been born in the United States of America and to live here. And that we don't have that type of life growing up. And then someone said to me, you really need to read the book 1,000 Splendid Suns. Because as a female, as a woman, I could connect with the understanding the culture of Kite Runner, but 1,000 Splendid Suns is by the same author, and it's about the women in Afghanistan and how their roles changed. From being able to go to school and have professions to all of a sudden being oppressed to the point where they weren't allowed to leave their homes. They had to wear the burqas where they're completely covered from head to toe in black, and the only thing you see is the screen where their eyes are. So it really opened my eyes to, again, not only how fortunate we were to live in this country, but how important it is to understand other cultures. It also can show the readers things they've never seen before, and it demands an emotional response. Now, the reason there's a red check mark on this screen is these 4 bullet points are on your exam. It will also be on your study guide. Okay?